this project, I'm using the Red Heart Super Saver Ombre, and the color is Scuba. For this project, you're going to chain 58. Then you're going to single crochet in this second chain from the hook. It's 1, 2. You're going to do single crochet, which I cannot see. Let me see. Here it is. And you're going to single crochet all the way across. And just my normal disclaimer, I did not design this pattern. So go ahead and single crochet all the way across, and I'll meet you here at the end. Okay, for the second row, you're just going to chain up 1, and then you're going to single crochet all the way across. Okay, so we're going to start the third row, which is the setup row. This is to chain 3, turn, and in this same stitch right here, this first one, you're going to double crochet to make 2 double crochets, and this counts as a half shell. Then it says to skip next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. And then V-stitch in the next set. Okay, so you're going to do a V-stitch, which the V-stitch is going to be a double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. Okay, let's see, it says skip next 3 stitches, V-stitch in the next stitch, skip next 3 sets, shell in the next. Okay, so 1, we're going to skip 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to make a shell, which is 5 double crochets in this next set. So 1, 2, 3, and then the shell. Shell, it says work. Okay. So we're going to do shell right here, which is 5 double crochets. It looks like, if I'm not mistaken, you're going to skip the other 3. So it says here, stitch, shell, and next stitch, repeat from, okay, so yeah. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3. You're going to do a V-stitch. 1, 2, 3, and then the 4th stitch. It doesn't look like you're going to do any type of chain 1 in between. So again, 1, 2, 3, and the 4th, you're going to do your shell, which is 5 double crochets, that same stitch. So this is what row 3 looks like, and it looks like you're going to do this until you reach the last 8 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I would suggest, if I can get it, really? Come on. Oh, I can't get that. Okay, so let's count the last 8 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm gonna put a stitch marker there, which I happened to grab the blue one. So I put a stitch marker there because it says here that it's gonna, the pattern's gonna change from here. So just keep going. Skip 3, 1, 2, 3. You're gonna be your V-stitch. 1, 2, 3. It's gonna be your your shell, and then continue on until you reached your stitch mark right here. Here is the end of row 3, well, almost the end. So your last, so you should have 6 shells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you have sherbet. You should have 7 of the V-stitches. So the last stitch right here, you're going to do your half shell, which is a 3 double crochets. I'm trying to see. Let me see if I can. Okay, there. I think I got it. So you can. So this would be your 3 double crochets, which would be the half half shell in the end. So row 4, you're going to chain up 3. And then you're going to double crochet. This is in the first stitch, which is this one right here. Then you're going to jump to the V-stitch. And you're going to do your shell, which is 5 double crochet. I'm doing this for some reason. There you go. Your 5 shell, and then it says to the next shell. Okay, so then yeah, and then it's in this middle of the shell. 1, 2, 1, 2 in the middle. You're going to do a V-stitch. And this is pretty much, I guess, a common pattern, the shell pattern. Then you're going to do your 5 double crochets, your V-stitch, 5 double crochets, and your V-stitch all the way across. Okay, so I'm at the end of row 4. So is just as the beginning, you're going to end in this 3 on the 3 turning chain, geez, I can't talk today. Anyway, here in the last one, on the last turning chain, you're going to do 2 double crochets. Because that's what you started with on this side. So now we're going to go to chain 5. So we're going to do the chain 3. Which counts as a double crochet, and then it says 2 double crochet in the first, which is the first stitch right there. Then you're going to jump over here and do a V-stitch in the middle of the shell. And then you're going to jump into the shell and do the 5 double crochets. So it's basically this almost the same as the previous row. So the pattern is just basically V-stitch on the shell, and in the V-stitch do shells. So that's basically the pattern. So once you end in row 5, you're going to repeat row 4 and 5. So here you ended in a V. So when you come back, you're going to do 3 double crochets in the turning chain. Then you turn, and then you do chain 3, and then 1 double crochet in the same stitch to do the V stitch, and then you should be able to do. Here's going to be a V stitch right here, and then you do the 5 double crochets. So it's really simple. It looks really pretty. So you would continue this pattern It doesn't say, it just says, oh, it says repeat 4 and 5 until you measure 61.5 inches. So go ahead and just continue the pattern until it measures 61.5, or if you want it longer, shorter. And then once you finish that, then the last row, the next before last row is going to be all single crochets, and the last row all single crochets, so it can match this side, the bottom or the top, whatever. The bottom actually, it's going to bottom this. So I'll go ahead and finish, and then once I'm ready to, once I've reached the desired length, I'll come back and just show you real quick the last 2 rows of the shawl. And then I will show you the pockets, how to sew them together, do a border, all that good stuff. So once you have reached the length of your shawl, the pattern says to end in row 5, which is the half shell on the sides. After you do that, chain 1, turn, and then you're going to do a single crochet in each stitch. So here where the V-stitch is, you're going to do a single crochet there, and just all across. Then you're going to chain 1, and then do the other row. So there's going to be 2 rows of single crochet. So I am going to add a border. It's probably 2 rows of the single crochet. I also started the pockets. So I chained 32, and I did a half double crochet pattern or stitch. So I did 20 rows of this, And the way that I measured it was I put my hand here, and then more or less you have an idea of how deep you want the pocket. Because then I'm going to add border also on the pocket. So you chain up, if you want to do the same size, you chain up 32, and then in the and then you're going to do a half double crochet in the second chain from the hook all across. Then you just chain 1, and then you start your other row. So when you chain 1, the half double crochet is going to be in the very first stitch right here. If you do it on this one, it's going to start to go like this. So just make sure that you add your first double crochet here and then continue. So again, I did 20 rows of this. So I'm going to finish the pockets. I'm going to add all the border, and then I'll come back and show you how to sew these the pockets to the shawl. So once you finish your borders, I actually did a border. I did 2 rows of the single crochet, and then I did also 2 rows of the single crochet. So now the next step is to sew these on. Now you can either try to pin it down with stitch markers. I find that very difficult. So what I do, I get a glue gun. Oops, try not to move this. And what I do is carefully, I put since it has 2 rows, the borders kind of, the width is good for this. So you're going to just place a little dot of the glue. Don't need much. And then just push it down. Once you've centered your pocket. So let me see, it's hard to get it in the frame because it's such a, so then again, you just grab another side, put a little bit of glue, just a little dot, and then pin it down. And that way, you can very conveniently sew these things down. I think it's hard. I mean, I wouldn't know how to even sew it if it's moving around or having to move around. So just like that, just, you know, like I said, a drop here and there. Just a little dot right there, just so it can stay in place and long enough for you to sew it down. Sorry, my dogs are a little bit restless, so they may start barking. So here's just another one right here. It doesn't have to be all over the place, just a dot, just so it's secure enough. When I did the first one, I glued all around. I'm like, why did I even do that? What about the opening of the pocket? So just keep that in mind. So here I'm just gonna put another little dot right here. This is just, I mean, this is my way of be able to do this because I just think it's hard for this thing to be moving around. So I think that's it. Just, again, just in certain places, enough to where it holds it into place while you can very freely move around and sew it together. And that way it's nice and secure. I mean, ideally, I guess you could glue it down, but I don't know, to be honest, if it's when it's washed, this type of glue will, okay, I had to interrupt that because of my dogs. I was saying, I don't know if this glue will, with the, you know, washing, will, I don't know, come apart. I don't know if it does. I don't trust that it will. So I just rather sew it down. So here it is. So now you can freely, very easily, it's nice and stuck right there. So now you can sew it down. The advantage of doing a dark border is that you can actually sew it all the way through and you're not going to be able to see it through the stitches. So let me just get my yarn and needle ready so I can show you real quick just how to sew them on. Okay, so I'm gonna start here at the bottom. So I'm going to go here. I would do probably this just to have an idea of where you're gonna start. Like right here. And what you'll do is leave a little tail here, leave a little tail so you can sew in the end to attach it. So I would, let me see, since it's dark, you can actually just like probably do it right here and just make sure it goes all the way through. So you see, this is what I was saying, it's dark. See, so you can't really see the stitch. And actually, if you can see, but it's hard to see, just go again and look under and see where you're gonna do the next stitch. Well, there's goes one. So here. So I guess if you secure it well enough, let's see, do this. Let me see. See, yeah, it's getting, so, yeah, so just, you know, this is gonna take some patience here to do this, so more or less, I don't know, let's see. Put the needle, well, it's kind of stuck on this one. You just have to more or less just by ear here. And then just go back a little bit here. So yeah, again, I mean, just for safe measure, I would just sew it on there. Or if you know of a glue, there is fabric glue that you can use that withstands machine washing and all that, but I don't have any of that. And I don't know if it would stick to yarn, so, but that's something that you can try if you dabble into the quilting or sewing things. Maybe you can try some sort of fabric glue if you don't want to, you know, sew this. I think it's just easier just to stick it on with glue, but you just never know. So that's it. You just basically go around and sew it. Of course, leave this opening and just sew it all around, and then just do the other side as well with the same, you know, glue it on and then just sew it. And again, if you do a dark stitch, I mean, color of yarn, you really can't see the stitching. So now if it is a light color, then you would probably have to, you know, just either do an even stitching, like stitch by, you know, like stitch by stitch by stitch, so it looks like a little stitching. It doesn't, yeah, I mean, but that would take some time, but it just depends. So that's it. This is a very quick pattern. And by quick, I mean you can finish this in a day or so, depending on your time. If you're full-time, you know, stay at home, you can finish this in a day. This took me, I do a full-time job, and it took me 2 days in my, you know, spare time to do it. So it's a very quick project. It's ideal for the last, if you want to give maybe a gift, somebody's birthday, you want to do something really nice, make something. The shawl is really, I mean, you can do it really quick for last minute gifts. And it's very easy. You know, you can easily watch your favorite shows and, you know, still be able to do all the, you know, to crochet this. So that's it. So let me know if you have any questions. Just email me. The comments are turned off because when you select that it's made for kids, it automatically, it will not, it won't let us or let me accept comments. That's why the comment is always turned off. I guess because people get, I don't know, maybe people, I've never seen it, but there's a reason they do that. So that's why I put my email addresses, my personal email, my business email, so you can contact me that way. And just let me know any type of questions or any suggestions of what type of videos, like probably a video on how to do the border, just whatever, just email me. I hope you learned something new today, and thank you for watching.